Everybody. No, I have a microphone now. I'm Chris Parente, a member here at Althea. We're thrilled you're here. For those of you who stayed up last night to watch the ball game, we're probably watching from Facebook or YouTube. Good to see you. Let's give it up for the Buffs. And in fairness, let's give it up for CSU. They put on a pretty good match last night. And let's give it up for the Broncos who play this afternoon. And let's give it up for a gay guy who's talking about sports, okay? Thank you. Thank you. We're busting those stereotypes this morning. Listen, we do have a new rule here at Althea as we start to find our center and start to ground ourselves. I'm calling it the Boebert rule. The Boebert rule. So I want to implore all of you, number one, no groping here in church today, no vaping. And most importantly, you're better just to turn the cell phone off. You're going to avoid a lot of trouble if you simply turn it off. So I encourage you to go grab, rustle for it, find it. Don't mess with the silent thing. It never works. Just turn it off. If anything happens in the next hour, you are in the right place. Okay? I can promise you the world will turn. Your phone will be just fine, turned all the way off. Of course, we start every Sunday the same way by acknowledging the land on which we've gathered. It is the land of the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, and the Ute. Luis and I went for a bike ride yesterday. It doesn't take long, especially if you're out there in nature, to feel the presence of those peoples with us still, and they are quite literally still with us. The Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute. And Althea, it's more than just words. We have two organizations here that are allies for our indigenous communities. We've got both the Spirit of the Sun and Sisters of Color United in Education. Their work continues 24/7 here within these walls, and we thank them for that. We also want to remind folks that we are a community growing and evolving and welcoming. I'm watching the folks at home. Welcoming. If you're at home, come next weekend, no matter what your walk of life. And in particular, we're trying to embrace all races, all genders, all sexual orientations, all ages, and all backgrounds. We're evolving, and we hope our congregation reflects that. This is a safe space for all of us to gather and to realize we are all seekers on that path toward awakening the spirit of oneness in all of us. Now, I'm looking around. I might see a couple new faces. Don't be afraid now, but if it's your first time here in Althea, please raise your hand high. Ooh, all right. Make some noise for them. It's our tradition to offer each of you a flower because we're thrilled you're here. We're thrilled you're giving us a try. You're welcome here. And a reminder, too, if you've got a flower, you've also got a free lunch today. We have that over there in the cafeteria right after services. And Luis, did you tell me that it's a mac and cheese bar today? Okay, say no more. You picked the right Sunday to come for the first time. Of course, music is a great part of what we do here, too. It helps us ground ourselves. It helps us find the spirit within. Music, they say, is the language of angels, the language of God. I agree. We'll get to our musician in a few minutes, but we'll start with our opening prayer from a man I happen to know quite well.
All right, we'll start with a collective breath. Deep breath. Today is about opening the heart. So, in that spirit, open up the body, uncross those legs, those arms, open all the way up. All right, so to our beloved Creator, we begin this day with gratitude for the certain, never-ending safety we experience and your love that extends into this sacred sanctuary through us. We are grateful for your support in opening our hearts so we may see you in every being and to receive the message you gift us through Melinda. Through your love, we send our blessings and light to our Jewish siblings as they celebrate Rosh Hashanah, and we extend our joy and heart to the Hispanic community as we celebrate history, culture, and community this month. Above all, we are grateful for the knowing that in blessing our siblings, we bless ourselves eternally. We release these sacred words into the infinite sacred mind of our Creator, and together we say, and so it is.
Good morning. I often do announcements and will at the end, but that's not what this is. This is something that we like to recite together for you new folks. Our statement of being. It was distilled from words that women who founded this spoke back in the 1800s. And we've made it our own, so we recite it every week. And then we sing a song called The Face of God that we also think reflects what we are about. So I'm going to help you through that process. So please stand if you're able. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. We are a family. You are the face of God. Thank you.
We're happy to have back today our featured musician, Jennifer Price. She's showing up with an American folk blues vocal, her acoustic guitar. She runs up on stage. Her songs are familiar, but they're unique, they're raw, they're full of emotion, and most of all, they're full of love. A native of the Mile High City, she's excited to be here again and playing for us. Make her feel welcome. Put your hands together for Jennifer Price.
Good morning. Gosh. I thought there was going to be a little bit more talking. And so if I don't take this off, it'll be... So this first number I'm going to do is I wanted to do something familiar. And it's been resonating with me because I have a turntable, and my needle had broken for about a year. So I got a new needle, and I've been playing all their records, and one of my favorite ones is Fleetwood Mac. Anyway, so this is Jen's version of Landslide. Take my love, dig it down. Climbed the mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in a snow-covered hill, and a landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can a child inside rise above? Can I handle the seasons of the ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? I don't know. I don't know, but I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes us colder, and children get older, and I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb the mountain and you turn around, and I handle the seasons of the ocean tides, and I handle the seasons of my life. Da 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 da. But I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. Time makes us colder, and children get older, and I'm getting older too. Take my love, bring it down. Climb the mountain and you turn around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hill. Maybe a landslide, I'll bring it. Landslide, I'll bring it. A landslide, I'll bring you down. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chadwick Dickerson. I'll be doing the readings this morning. Today we have two relating to the Dalai Lama. The first one is a quote from the Dalai Lama. Don't ever mistake my silence for ignorance, my calmness for acceptance, or my kindness for weakness. Compassion and tolerance are not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. The second one is the Bodhisattva prayer for humanity. This prayer is said to be performed each morning by His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Thank you.
For those of you watching on Facebook or YouTube, we're getting a little more social media savvy. And our spiritual director, she takes off from time to time. I believe it's her birthday, isn't it, Louise? And I saw she posted, she's up in the mountains with her husband enjoying her birthday. So you're probably not watching me right now, but when you do watch, hope you have a great birthday. And if you're out there, follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we are on Instagram as well. So, in her absence, we have a wonderful guest speaker this morning, a ministerial student, a life coach, hypnotherapist, teacher, and author. Melinda's focus is on empowering transformation both personally and globally. Her coaching practice specializes in supporting people to heal beyond their trauma. She works to teach individuals how to gain a better intuitive sense, to deepen their connection with Source, and to establish habits and skills that are healthier, sustainable, and affirming. Delivering today's message is our guest speaker, Melinda Jacobs.
Thank you. I want to thank Reverend Christina for inviting me, and she told me to go stand in the center of the stage because there's a vortex here, so I'm just going to stand here and levitate for a moment. It's good seeing you all. Thank you for coming this morning. Thank you for those of you who are joining via technology. So we're talking about tolerating the intolerable and a journey back to love. I'm so excited for this topic today. It has been coursing through me. And when I download information, all of your guides are speaking to me. And I got to tell you, they've been noisy this last week. It's been very fun to try to gather the information that your guides, your soul's higher self has been calling for. So I'm happy to be the mouthpiece today. And it might feel a little discombobulated, so I apologize for that because it's just been all over the place. So I'm going to start again repeating what the Dalai Lama said. I am a hypnotherapist, and I do believe that when we repeat and wash ourselves in that information again and again, that it deepens it. So if it's comfortable, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine stepping into that vibration, into that energy of the Dalai Lama. He's a way shower. Is he special? Sure. But is he demonstrating anything that is unlike what you have? No, absolutely not. So imagine these words being your words. Don't ever mistake my silence for ignorance, my calmness for acceptance, or my kindness for weakness. Compassion and tolerance are not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. You can open your eyes. So we're talking about tolerating the intolerable. Just this morning, as I was driving here, there was a woman with a child and a dog running in the middle of the street. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why? You shouldn't be. And as soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, wait, what are you talking about again this morning, Melinda? Tolerating the intolerable? We see it all the time. And I hear it all the time. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't say that. Why don't they do something different? Why don't they believe what I believe? How could they, whoever they is? One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Adyashanti, he's so relatable, and he is so incredibly wise. And he says, enlightenment is nothing more than the complete absence of resistance to what is. End of story. I'm not there yet. But it's a good guidepost. It's a nice idea for me to follow, to come to that place of acceptance of what is, to abandon all resistance. Is anybody in this room there yet? Because I'd like to shake your hand. Oh, shake your hand. Okay, thank you. But it's a great idea, because there is so much out there that offends the senses. There are atrocities. There's just devastating things that are happening. And we ask why? How? Why do they do that? How do they do that? Well, I'd like to tell you. We're going to talk about the subconscious mind a little bit. So the subconscious mind, I love this picture, and I know this is a very famous picture of the big iceberg. And if we look to nature, it really does reflect our essence. And the iceberg reflects us, our mind. It shows us this little tiny bit above the water. That's our conscious mind. Ooh, what am I stepping next to? And then that big mass of ice underneath, that's the subconscious mind. Our conscious, thinking, waking mind, what we're aware of, only has 4 to 8% access to the totality of life experience that we hold. That's not a lot. That is very small. People come to me all over the world. I've worked in 46 countries so far. Pretty exciting. And it's so common that they say, I don't understand. I don't understand why I'm doing this. Why am I eating potato chips at 11 o'clock at night? Why do I have such an aversion to my mother? Why am I so angry? Well, here's the answer. Because you only have 4 to 8% access. We're not going to know why. Imagine me giving you 4 to 8 puzzle pieces to a puzzle and say, here you go. Put it together. Tell me what the picture is. And for years, you struggle to get that picture to come into focus, to figure out what are these 4 to 8 pieces trying to convey to you. And I come back years later and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that's a 100-piece puzzle. Oops. We're not ever going to really, truly understand why through our conscious thinking mind. And what is the data that is held in our cellular memory that's in the subconscious? What makes up that data? I believe, and science has shown, that some of that data is my own life experience, from conception to developing in utero to my life experience as a child, as an adult. There's the data. That's fair. What about past lives? Some people believe in that. I am a certified past life regression therapist, and I got to tell you, I'm on the fence. Some days I'm like, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes, I have absolute memories from other times. And I have a memory from another world. And then there's times when I'm just like, oh, I'm so making this up. And science has shown trauma trickles down through the DNA. So some of the data that we're holding is our ancestors. Carl Jung says, until we make the unconscious conscious, we will be driven by that data. And we'll call it fate. Yikes. And so when we look out to what people are doing and how they're being, one of the ways that I tolerate the intolerable is to remember this, is to remember that we are all acting out on unconscious material. It is driving us. And until we choose to wake up, like Christina was talking last week, and choose to make that unconscious the conscious, it's going to drive us. I think the synchronicities are so amazing. And I was listening to Reverend Christina's message again from last week as I was walking this morning, and she used this quote. And I love Albert Einstein, my pal Al. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we use to create them. What that means is if we're in this lower frequency, this lower energy, and we create separation, we create mistrust, we create habits that don't serve us, like bigotry and marginalizing people. We're never going to solve those problems if we continue to align with the problem. We have to align with the solution. So today I want to bring you some ideas that are stepping out of the problem and into the solution. Are you game? Nice. Through the eyes of a child. Looking at children's eyes, they're so innocent. They're so pure. To see the world through the eyes of a child is to remember the truth. I love that children don't see race. They don't see difference. There was a picture of two little boys of very different races, and they were wearing the same shirt, and they said, "Look, we're twins," because they just see oneness. And so I'm constantly reminded to be like a child. Some people who recently traveled with me to Italy, to Dom and her, saw me carrying this water bottle with this cute little critter. Now, on one level, this represents my two Bengal cats. So when I'm away from him, I don't get so lonely. But it also reminds me to be childlike, not childish, but to remember the innocence of who we are, to remember to look through life through that picture, through that view. So here's some ideas that are more aligned with the solution. First is to remember, where's your power? What do you actually have control over? I know, and it's only taken me 57 years to figure this out, I know that I can't control other people's behavior. I can't change their mind because it's being driven by the subconscious. I can't. The more I effort to try to make someone different, or to believe something that their subconscious says this is my truth, oh my gosh, that's wasted energy. So I can free myself up. I can come back to myself and remember what I am in control of is myself, my response, my reaction, and doing my own excavation of my own unconscious. That's what I am empowered to do. That's what you're empowered to do. And so if we're going to raise our consciousness, if we're going to wake up, we need to leave other people alone. That would be a very powerful step for all of humanity. I giggle when my mother says, "Oh, they can't do that," when they just obviously did that. I'm like, well, yeah, but they just did that. So evidently they can do that. And then she says, well, they shouldn't. And then I get a little, I'm very literal brained at times. And I'm like, why not? Well, because it's wrong. Why? Well, and then it stops. The conversation just stops. The interesting thing about this earth school that we're on is we were given free will. Well, isn't that an interesting gift? To be able to do whatever we want, to choose who we want to be. So let's leave each other alone and let's bring ourselves back to a place of empowerment. What's here for you? What are you ready to shift? What are you ready to change? And let the rest be. Adyashanti, the complete absence of resistance to what is. Boundaries, 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 boundaries. I have a family of origin. I have a very interesting family of origin. They've taught me a lot. I choose to accept them as my greatest teachers now. That has not always been the way I've perceived them. And I have boundaries. And I have boundaries with my friends, and I have boundaries with acquaintances, and I have boundaries with clients. And boundaries are what helps us keep our heart open. It's what allows us to stay in a state of open-heartedness. Because if we are not protecting ourselves in a way that feels appropriate in the moment, our heart closes. Tolerating the intolerable is a journey back to love. And so if we truly want to be loving, well then wouldn't it be nice to maybe take a step or two back from people who are difficult or challenging or abusive and love them at a distance? I want to read to you a quote from this book, One Mind. This is by Dr. Thomas Hora, a psychiatrist's spiritual teachings. And this idea of loving people, it's an interesting idea because I don't know that we honestly really get what that means. And Dr. Hora is having a conversation with some students, and there's this idea of perfect love. Well, what is that? Dr. Hora defines it as non-personal, non-conditional benevolence. And the first time I read that, it just fell flat. I'm like, okay, well, that's great words, but it's not meaningful to me. So he goes on to say, translated into human language, perfect love is non-personal, non-conditional benevolence. I spoke to a young lady from a Jewish family once. Happy Jewish New Year, by the way, to all of you. And she was raving about her father, how he has loved her all her life, how he is the best father anybody could ever have. He is just God in my life, she said. He loves me so much that he does everything for me, and he always did, except I'm not allowed to marry anyone that's outside of my faith. I have to marry someone who's Jewish, and my boyfriend is Christian. Thomas Hora goes on to say, parental love is mostly conditional. Therefore, it's a troublemaker. And then this is the definition that just landed for me. He says, the way that we love as humans is conditional. Human love is conditional. Divine love is unconditional. Enlightened human love is non-conditional. It says, I love you even though. How useful is that? I love you even though you hold certain beliefs. I love you even though you have certain behaviors that I find offensive. I love you even though. Oh, that just helped my heart open up so much. And to me, that's a very powerful practice when we're looking to align with the solution. And this is the line that really just gutted me. Conditional love is more harmful than neglect. In my years of training and working with trauma, the most harmful thing you can do is ignore somebody. We are loving conditionally. I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to speak to you because I don't approve. And for now, that might be where your boundary is, and that's fine. But I invite you to practice loving at a distance. And so with one of my family members, a number of years ago, before even COVID, decided to love him at a distance. And that was heartbreaking for me. I wanted a close connecting relationship. And that just wasn't possible. It wasn't available. And I'm very happy to announce tonight, my mother, my brother, the one that I loved at a distance, and I are having dinner together for the very first time in over 5 years. Love heals all things, but I had to love him at a distance. So it was a step. This question, who do you want to be, how do you want to be, was really powerful because, interesting family dynamics that I have with my family. And my mother would often get on my nerves, and I would find myself getting a little short. I didn't like who I was being. And so my person that I go to for support asked me that question, well, who do you want to be when you're with her? I want to be loving. I want to be patient. I want to be accepting. I want to practice the complete absence of resistance to what is. So this question helps me open my heart. It helps me get back to that non-conditional love that is available for us. I love you even though. And so again, aligning to the solution is, well, who do you want to be? How do you want to be? Because to acknowledge the unconscious material that has been driving my behavior is important. I can be a little short. I can slam doors pretty quickly, cut people off. But that's not how I want to be. I have to know where am I going. I have to have a guidepost to guide me. And so people like the Dalai Lama, people like Adyashanti, remind me who I am and how I want to be. Powerful question. Life is your mirror. Oh, this one hurts. When you see people doing what people do you know that they're reflecting a part of you back? Oh, that one's a hard pill to swallow down. Because when I see bigotry, when I see misogyny, I have to look at myself and go, ooh, where am I doing that? And I might play it out a little differently. It may not be an identical mirrored reflection for me. But I guarantee you we are all part of the one mind. And we as humans have polluted that God mind. We have thrown a bunch of trash in the space, and sometimes we start acting out the trash. They are bad. They are dangerous. They are not safe. And so we start playing it out. But to really open yourself to being loving, it's a powerful step to say, how am I doing that? How am I contributing to the problem, to the separation, to the oppression? How am I aligning with the problem, and how do I step to the solution? Self-reflection. Constant self-reflection. I can't change them. I can't control them, but I can look at myself. Take a breath and get curious. Get curious about what's going on around you. When I was telling a friend of mine about my dynamic with my family, specifically my brother, her eyes sparkled like it was Christmas morning. And with excitement of a child, she's like, oh, I wonder what you guys are up to having that experience together. And I had never thought to get curious about that. What are we up to as souls coming together, having this collective experience as a family? What are we up to as souls coming together as this spiritual community? What are we up to as a country having this experience together? What are we choosing to learn? What are we choosing to grow from? My opinion, a certain individual came onto the political environment and said, I'm going to drain the swamp. And he did. And guess what we saw? We saw what's held in our unconscious mind. We saw the misogyny. We saw the racism. We saw the oppression. He did a really good job on a spiritual level. That was a benefit for us. And that's a hard thing to look at, to see what we have done collectively to each other. But we can get curious, and we can start to step away from the atrocity of it all, take a breath and say, okay, now what? How do I want to be knowing that I hold that? Who do I want to be knowing that that is a reflection of me? Aligning to the solution. How many of you have heard the term pronoia? Yay, some hands are going up, yay. How many of you know the word paranoia? Everybody. Paranoia is the idea that everything is out to get us. Pronoia is everything is for us? What if that terribly neglectful environment that I grew up in was for me? What if? Now, I would never say that to someone who was just awakening to, oh my gosh, I really lived through some awful stuff. I would never say, well, how is it for you? That's a little spiritual bypassy for me. I don't appreciate that approach. But I've spent years working through the trauma. I've spent years grieving the pain of it all. And I can now get to the place where I'm like, oh yeah, like a river running over a rock, it honed me. It strengthened me. It hurt like a fill in the blank. But it made me who I am today, and it made me more loving, and that was a choice. So what if everything around you is for you? Does that change how you perceive the world? Does that change how you perceive people? Maybe. The last one, I love this. Sometimes we forget that we are in a co-creative experience with the divine. Sometimes we forget that there are a multitude of angels around us, supporting us in every moment. Sometimes we forget to just hand it over back to God. I love the idea that some things are just above my pay grade. My relationship with my brother was above my pay grade, and I had to surround him in this beautiful bubble of gold light. And then I infuse it with the color of rose gold, because gold is the highest frequency of healing, and rose is the color of love. And I would surround him in that bubble, and I would hand that over and say, this is above my pay grade. You need to do this. I can't. I don't have the tools. I don't have the perspective. I don't have the strength. But I can hand it over. And sometimes we just have to hand it over and just unburden ourselves and remember that there are powerful, powerful beings that are helping us at all times. We're surrounded by angels, and they're here to help. So in conclusion, what are you going to do? How are you going to take this out into the world? And I love this quote by Jim Watkins. A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence. I have been persistent in my years of healing. I have been persistent in this altruistic belief in the good of human beings. I choose to see that. And I had to be persistent even when it was really hard. And there are days where I just stayed in bed and just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be persistent today. You bet. Of course. But every day I wake up and I'm like, well, let's try again. Let's try to open the heart. Let's try to be loving. Let's try to remember that non-conditional, I love you even though. So what are you going to do? What are you here to learn? How do you want to be? I want to close today with a community prayer. And I hope you can see this. But this is the prayer we started with from the reading. A bodhisattva, if you don't know, is someone who has become enlightened. They have no resistance to what is. They love it all. And a bodhisattva is someone who stays amongst the humans to help them. They don't have to come back, but they choose to. Kuan Yin, the mother of all mothers, is a bodhisattva. And her story is that she will remain here until the last child has passed through, awakened. And so if you can read this with me. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Amen. Blessed be, and so it is. Thank you so much.
Melinda, that was amazing. Oh my gosh. That resonated very, very tremendously for me, actually, and I think it resonated for a lot of us. So I'm choosing to sing a song that I wrote after some trauma of breaking up with the husband. Is this thing on? Okay. I can feel it in my bones. The broken code. Oh, but it's all right. Yes, it's all right. You got to get yourself home. I can feel it in my soul. You stole the show, but it's over. Yes, it's over. You got to get yourself home. And I can feel it in the sun. You can hear it in the wind. You can feel it in the trees. Oh, and you can taste it all on your skin. It is love. Oh, yeah, yeah. You gotta get some love. You gotta get some love. Yeah, yeah. You gotta get some. Yeah, yeah. And see it in your eyes. Baby's crying. Oh, but it's all right. Yes, it's all right. Go on and wipe those eyes. Yeah, yeah. And I can see it in your face. You don't approve. No, no, but it's over. Yes, it's over. Thank God it's not up to you. You can feel it in the sun. You can hear it in the wind. You can feel it in the trees. Oh, and baby, you can taste it on your skin. It is love. Oh, 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 you gotta get some love. Oh, you gotta get some love. You gotta get you some. Oh, do 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 do. Yes. Oh, you can feel it in the sun. You can hear it in the wind. Yeah. You know it's in the trees, baby. It's on your skin. Yeah, yeah. Look up in the sky. It'll fall from your eyes. You know it's everywhere. Just pluck it from the air. Do 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 do. Look up in the sky. It'll fall from your eye. You know it's everywhere, baby. Pluck it from the air. Do 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 do. You know it's everywhere, baby. You got to get you some love. Thank you so much.
Give it up again for Jennifer. She cool. I love it. I am so glad you got that needle fixed on your record player. You know, we talk about sort of bumper sticker Buddha, right? I used to hate the bumper sticker spirituality until I got older and realized, wow, there's a lot of truth in it. And so I want to first thank you, because we've always heard you can't change other people. And on a surface level, it makes sense. And the older you get, like today, I got a really deep revelation of why. I had never thought about it in terms of the subconscious. It makes it easier for me to accept. Thank you. Yeah, that was really powerful. And another bumper sticker Buddha, you know, it's in the giving that we receive. I used to think that was trite. The older I get, I realize how profound it is. I don't know, a lot of you might relate to at the holidays, isn't it a lot more fun? I don't even want gifts anymore. So much more profound to give them. And here's our chance to kind of put that into practice. You know, the beautiful renovations we've had here, all the programs that we do here, all the outreach, it does take not just time and talent, but treasure as well. And so our ushers are coming forward asking you if you would to give, and in the giving, understand that you're receiving. I like to do it the Vegas method. We have the dip jar back there, so you can take your credit card and just ding, ding. It's $10 a dip. We also have our ongoing giving, which is done through our website. We have a QR code. We have a lot of ways that you can give and in the process receive. So I'll ask our ushers when they're done to come forward, and we'll affirm together why it is that we willingly and joyfully and openly give. It'll be on the screen for you right here if we say it together. The universe provides all that I need and all that I give. With great joy, I share my prosperity, planting seeds for a world I am helping manifest. And so it is. Amen. You know, I really like Reverend Christina says, we follow the KISS method here, which I always thought was keep it simple, stupid. She said, no, it's keep it simple and spiritual. Amen. I love that. And that's our approach as we do this. We've done it for quite a while, our prayers of the people. We ask that you be straightforward, concise, and heartfelt. If you have a prayer that you want to share with us, that we can then give to our prayer partners, they'll pray throughout the week for you and with you. Affirmative prayer. We do ask, because we're being broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, that we try not to use any identifying last names, anything that would embarrass somebody or compromise their safety. But in the spirit of offering up a prayer that you'd like support with or you'd like to share, we do have ushers with microphones handy. And we'd ask now, if you have a prayer request or a prayer you'd like to share, just raise your hand high. We have one in the front row. We got a lot of folks today in the front row.
So last week, I mentioned that my family needed healing, and I attended my grandmother's funeral. It was beautiful. I stood up and spoke for her. My uncle's children were there, so there was a catharsis for that. And I want a prayer request for my uncle. I did not know how the extent to his paralysis from stroke was. I'd like prayers for his healing and a breakthrough, even if the universe will allow it, so that he could walk again. To heal his nerves in his body. His name is John.
My next, or all right. Hi.
Good morning.
I would like to get a prayer for one of my near and dearest friends, Vance. He got into a car accident, and his car was how he makes his income as well. So we need a prayer for him. His name is Vance, V-A-N-C-E. I would also like a prayer for myself. I've been hitting brick walls. I have been ghosted. I have been just knocking on doors as far as where I should be headed and where I am going. And I know when you get ghosted and when you start running into brick walls, there's something around the corner. So I don't know for sure what that is, but I just need guidance and whatever. I'm open. I'm ready. So, and my name is Kira, K-I-R-A.
I would love continued prayers for my family, for this dinner this evening, for my mother, for my brother, and for myself, for the continuing healing of ourselves, because of what I know heals within us, heals the world.
Yes, two things. One, I like a prayer for Laura. She has been involved in our community, often washing dishes. She has been hospitalized. She had a fall, and anyway, there were other things going on with her, so she's in the hospital now. Some prayers for her. And this is just something I wanted to share with everybody, kind of along the lines of what was being said today by Melinda. We all have a place in the world, and we'd like to think we are tolerated or even loved. At any rate, the world has many places too for us, and there are different things that each place brings. And I just wanted to read this to you because I ran across it from someone. The word Hawaii, if you might wonder what that is about, Hawaii. A small place for the survival of the breath of life. That's Hawaii.
I'd like continued prayers for the people in Morocco suffering from the earthquake and all the families who have had so much loss, and also for those in Libya from the floods, all that loss there.
Prayers for our friend Mark, who is at home recovering from fusion of vertebrae a little over a week ago. He's doing well. but just ask for continuing prayers for him and know that he's going to be divine and perfect, or that he is.
Amen. And want to remind folks that we have our prayer partners meeting in the library after. So if it's something more personal, or maybe you're a little embarrassed or just feel like you'd rather talk one-on-one, we can do that in the library. We also have our prayer partners throughout the week on the computer. You can submit your prayers. It goes out to a lot of folks and amplifies the power of affirmative prayer. Now we get to hear you do your announcements. It wouldn't be Sunday without Jenny and announcements.
All right. Good to be up here again. My name is Ginny, and if you don't know me, I'm part of the team that sort of makes Sundays happen, although Christina's getting it more and more. And I tell you what cool things are going on, what you can be a part of at Althea. And know that everything I'm going to tell you is on our website, altheacenter.org, so go check it out there. Most things are on the program you got today. Many things are hanging up in the dining room, or just ask someone who looks nosy, like they know everything. We've got several of those people in our community, in a good way, in a loving way. So, okay, I'm hearing some comments from the peanut gallery. It's all good. Community Connections is a way, sort of like during the pandemic, where you can connect with us via Zoom. We still have it going. It's Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12:30. It's a group discussion. It's going to change every week. And you are so welcome to join it. In fact, it discusses a wide variety of spiritual and inner reflective topics. Kathy Humphreys, who I always make wave in the back there, is the person to talk to who helps lead those discussions. We also have a book club. Now, this is in person. This is new-ish. It's okay if you didn't attend the first couple of ones. And our own Reverend Arica King, who I don't think I see her today in the crowd, but she's usually here, and she is leading that. Althea Book Club, Thursdays in person, 2 to 3:30. Integrative Yoga with Linda is back. That is also on Thursdays. That's in your program as well at 5:30 p.m. So come join us for that. That is amazing, amazing yoga. And then once a month, we host a gong bath at 12:30 on Sundays. It's coming up a week from today. If you have never been bathed by a gong, come check it out. It's a little bit cheaper if you sign up ahead of time versus paying at the door, but it is amazing with Greg Wilkins. And we are still raising funds for our $100,000 audacious goal. I know everyone's looking up there because we're expecting it to be hanging. We have one of those thermometers, those big thermometers, but I think we're so excited that we have new paint that we don't want to even touch it. We don't want to hang it back up. So I believe it's in the dining room. But it will tell you we have all the rest of September, October, November, and December to raise just a measly $27,000. That's a lot of money, but when it comes to $100,000, that tells you that we've raised $73,000. I'm an accountant, I know that. $73,000. This beautiful and small-ish but growing community, so we still need your help. So still write those checks, and on the bottom put it's for that fundraiser, the 100-year fundraiser, because we celebrated 100 years of this beautiful building last year, and now we're at 101. So don't forget that. We mentioned prayer partners. Who are the prayer partners today? Who's doing that? There we go, Kendara Laura. So if you want to join her, right after this service, behind this wall, she can take you through a one-on-one. And then again, join us in the dining room, free if it's your first time here, and if you can't stay with us today because you're going to go watch the Broncos or something like that, come back again. It's not till 2:30. You have so much time. That would be an excuse is what you're telling me, Chris, if somebody used that. Got it. Thank you for that tip. And we often do what's called a deep dive. We aren't doing a deep dive today, just heads up. And for those who don't know, that's just a deeper discussion after lunch around the speaker's message. We're not going to do that today. All right. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our community song leader, and Daryl Johnson. and then we'll have a closing prayer. But I want to do one more round of applause for amazing Melinda. Thank you so much. So much to take with us from that. An amazing Jennifer, our songstress today. Thank you so much. And the amazing Chris Parente, who himself didn't get an introduction, but as our MC and doing it so well, he always brings vibrancy and humor. And Lauren Boebert, dude, you worked that in. You worked that in. Go Google that if you don't know what happened, because she is our representative. Woo! Anyway, on that note, let's pray. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the blazer.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good morning again. Our community song today is the Beatles' We Can Work It Out. So please stand as you're able and join me in We Can Work It Out. Try to see it my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can't go on? While you see it your way, run the risk of knowing that our love may soon be gone. We can work it out. We can work it out. Try to see it my... Jason, please. It's all right. Think of what I'm saying. We can work it out and get it straight or say goodnight. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friends. I have always thought that it's a crime. So I will ask you once again. Try to see it my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. While you see it your way, there's a chance that we may fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. I have always thought that it's a crime. So I will ask you once again. Try to see it my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. While you see it your way, there's a chance that we may fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, let us just bow our heads, close our eyes, and take this joy with us as we depart this sacred space, knowing that the entire world is sacred space. Let us each be a bodhisattva. Let us each look at each other through the coming weeks and days and hours and see the face of God in each and every individual. And let us also give a prayer for the world and all of its trials and tribulations. But we know that there is nothing more powerful than spirit, than oneness, and that is within each and every one of us. And so with hearts filled with gratitude, let us leave today with joy and thanksgiving in our hearts. And together we say, and so it is. Amen, amen.